Greetings and welcome to another show in the Biz Info Zone. You are watching the Biz Info Zone show. My name is Lynn Hawkins and I am so excited that you're here today. This is the place for news, information, what's up, what's next for the savvy social entrepreneur to help you to plan, express your purpose. Plan your next moves and take your business and your life into the realm of prosperity. And if you're already there, then there's a higher place to go, because what social entrepreneurship is and why it's so important in the world is something that we're going to be discussing today. And as I think about it, today we're not in the Biz Info Zone. We're actually part of the permission movement experience. And Spirit must have just hit my heart with that one, because the message, my message, our message, mine and Cynthia's together, actually transcends the boundaries of the work that we do. And it does that because it is so infused with heart. Is so infused with expression, and it is so infused with our mission, personally, business, as well as our collective mission, our collaborative mission to bring more social entrepreneurship and social enterprise and heart into business and how we do business. And I know you probably say, what has that got to do with anything? Well, it brought about all that we are doing now in the permission movement experience. I got the download that there was a book involved in my life. I thought, oh great, a book, I'd love to be an author. And I got an opportunity to be a co-author in a book called Women Entrepreneur Extraordinaire. And you can see that right here behind me. What a great experience. And I just want to give a shout out to Katarina Rando, who I met when I lived in California, invited her into one of my networking groups, and she shared this opportunity around a book. And from there, I've been able to develop it further into the concept of a book in your business. But even more than that, this book that I thought I was writing or being a co-author in ended up being something totally different. And it emerged into a book called Permission to Be Powerful, which is the first book of a series of books in the Permission Guidebooks. And this book in particular, I felt was important to be written by women entrepreneurs, for women entrepreneurs, for really the savvy social entrepreneurs. And the permission movement came out of that, because what I learned was, when you have something that is so close and so felt in your heart that it emerges into the expression of what it is that you talk about, what it is that you bring to the world, and it becomes a part of why that you're doing the business that you're doing. I saw my business emerge into the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, and that also, in that continued emerging, I mean, truly the rosebud coming into the flowering, but the flowering rose, emerged into another project, and this is the Social Enterprise Project venture that I talk about in a lot of the marketing material that you see spread around about the permission movement experience, and the book, in fact. We are taking this book and having it turned into a study guide with a leader guide, so that small groups of girls and women can actually jump into this study guide and not only read some inspirational stories. I mean, we can always get inspirational stories, but each story is infused with a tool, a strategy that the co-author used that was significant to her along her Shero's journey. And because of that, this book and these stories and these tools being brought to groups of girls and women will allow them to have more in their skills toolbox as they continue along their hero's journey. Now, why is that significant? Well, because girls who are aging out of the foster care system and looking ahead and saying, oh my God, what's out there? And or they're running into it because they want so desperately to get out of what it is that they've been in. We're looking at girls who are transitioning out of the juvenile detention, who are moving into life and saying, I am less worthy, I am incomplete, I am, and what's the future going to hold for me? We're looking at women who are transitioning out of the prison system and moving into halfway houses or houses of hope or whatever someone is calling them now, yet they are in the process of bringing their lives to a place of empowerment. And we're actually targeting women who are transitioning out of the military, who are looking at life in, society today being very different from when they went into the military. And adjusting to that, you're talking about fear of success, fear of failure, and there's so many things that the tools that are going to be in these study guides are going to be able to lend to these girls and women that we are actually doing the permission movement experience. We are putting it out there and saying, let us help you. And what that does for us is allows us to say, you, social entrepreneur, you entrepreneur, help us to do that. We're going to be launching a crowdfunding project soon. And we want to reach people like Procter & Gamble, who make Olay products, who make Pantene, who make all these products that we women entrepreneurs actually use, and use our collective bargaining process or opportunity to ask Procter & Gamble to support us and support these girls and women that we're trying to reach. And so what I'm here today to do is to bring you closer into the place where we live, which is social entrepreneurship. And to help me do that, I have one of our co-authors and one of my business partners, Cynthia Gardner ONeill. And I want Cynthia to chime in right now, and I'm just going to turn things over to her because with her business, the Center for Loving Consciousness, really educating and illuminating the world to the ability of the heart and the heart infused in your personal life and in your business to do so much, as well as her new program and products around harmonics. It just, with social entrepreneurship and harmonics and Center for Loving Consciousness, what Skyhawk Enterprises and Skyhawk Philanthropic Ventures does just fits so well for us to have partnered together, and I'm honored to stand in that space and to bring to you Cynthia Gardner ONeill. Hi, Cynthia.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is good. And I always say an attitude and diet full of love is a life full of miracles. And whatever time it is for you, it's about taking the time to really check out that experience you're having, your attitude towards life, because it is yours. It's all yours. And that's what we're here to actually talk about a little bit more about what you're here to do in this world, because I know a lot of people are confused and feeling as if something is missing inside of them. Are they contributing enough? What is it that they're doing? And for some reason, they might be accelerating in everything that they do, but something's still missing inside of them. And there's something I posted a while back. It was during on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I want to bring that in right now, just to start this whole thing off, so we can really empower every single one of you to know that you can make a difference in this world, that the love of one person can change the lives of many. And we'll be talking about that history of some of the love of one person who changed so much of what we're experiencing today. And we have this powerful show for you today. This is going to be a life changer for many of you, even those who are feeling depressed and maybe feeling you don't belong in this world anymore, that you're missing out on something. Well, guess what? You are a gift to the world, and this is why. So Martin Luther King Jr., one of his quotes, he said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" What are you doing for others? But a lot of times people take that wrong. What are you doing for others? What I am learning, I teach best. What I'm healing inside myself, I heal in others. And how I treat myself is how I will treat others. Always include yourself. Always include yourself. You cannot care for others if you cannot take care of yourself. Self-insure your health with your own self-care, taking care of yourself. And Lynn, she's talked about, when you get on the airplane and they tell you, when the bag, if you're having problems and the flight's going down or whatever, the air mask that drops down, you got to put it on yourself in order to be alive to help others. Now, peace begins within you. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot ask this question when you are in a place of lack consciousness. When you are able to ask yourself this question, what am I doing for others? You will be living your life as it was meant to be. Your heartbeat is the signature sound of you. You are unique, and by you being in a state of love and peace inside yourself, you are doing more for others than anything you could possibly do physically. The state of your being, let it be love. Love transforms consciousness. And on our shows, we have another show called Adventures of the Heart, which we talk about some of the science and everything behind what creates a healthy you, what creates the healthy environment that you're in, what creates better health for your family and your business. It all has to do with the heart and the love that you feel inside yourself. Love God with all your heart and soul and your neighbor as yourself. This was the greatest commandment. And many of you might not feel, or you might not be, religious or, but this is scripture. This is something that supports all life. Whatever you even call, God, creator, or whatever it is that higher power, that creative source that's flowing through you, there's something flowing through you that motivates you every day to get up in the morning. And really what it is, it's love. And a lot of us don't talk about it that way. We'll wake up in the morning and know that we woke up in the morning because we have something to do that day. But what motivates that? What's the cause behind you getting up in the morning to go take care of your kids, to go have a home that you feel comfortable in, to go provide a business that gives service to others? It's what's inside of you, the love that you are. And that's what we're here today. We're going to talk to you about all of that. What is socialpreneurship? What is being a contribution to this world? And also being a person who is in a place where you receive others' gifts. Because there's a lot of gifts being given you, and there's nothing, if I go to give something to someone, from my heart that I know, that feels really good for me to make a difference, and that person turns around and shuts me out and turns it down, does that feel good? We really got to open up our hearts. As Lynn says, she goes, an open heart opens hearts. So I'm going to turn this back over to Lynn because I just shared some very powerful information that I want you to take to heart. I want you to think about how wonderful you are, that your heartbeat is unique to you, and only you can do these things the way you do. You're here for a reason. Your heartbeat is important. It's an important contribution to every single heart. And it does contribute to every single heart. And every single heart is contributing back. And so I leave that in this moment to move on with the rest of the story.
Yeah, that's so powerful, and that is truly the space that the social entrepreneur comes from. It's heart. Now, what I think really requires addressing is a lot of people have a misconception about what social entrepreneurship is. You know, when you think of social entrepreneurship, it really lends most people to thinking that it's, you know, a nonprofit organization is the only type of social enterprise that there can be, which is not true. Or they think, you know, corporate America, the corporate philanthropy and giving arms of the larger corporations like the Packard Foundation and the Google Foundation, um, the Branson Foundation, I mean, the Gates Foundation. You know, people typically think that social entrepreneurship is left to those individuals and those entities to do. And as an employee or as someone that wants to tap into that, that's how I can engage. But what if you're a small business and, you know, your main goal and responsibility as a small business is to do business so that you can earn revenue and keep your doors open and continue to do business, do sustainable, good business, and that happens. However, how do you take it to another level? And how do you take it from just the narrowness of, I just want to make revenue, you know, what about employing others? Small business is one of the largest employers of individuals. Corporations employ a lot, but small business also contributes to that. And wouldn't it be great if you could do that if you're not already? And that's where I get into, you know, really, what is social entrepreneurship? And quite frankly, it has been defined by those who are nonprofits. And it is coming into the realm of new definition because of two things. One, it goes back to the beginning. The history of social entrepreneurship is, in fact, the small business owners who did well in business and were part of a community actually gave into those communities. That was them meeting their personal and business social responsibility. One of the most famous stories we know about in the Western culture is the story of Scrooge, and how Scrooge came out of this total mindset of revenue, pounding down to the dollar. And yet, when it came down to the wire, there were community needs right in his own employee base that he would not address until he was brought to the awareness that not only could he do something to help, it was in fact in his heart to do something to help. And I start with that story because you know that it is a very old story. You know that it is the story of a small business owner who, upon reaching the level of recognizing that his business would do better, and that came after the fact, but his business did do better because he was in a space of wanting, of desiring to give into the community, to help make the lives of others better. And, you know, there are stories of the women who started foundations and nonprofit organizations in memoriam to their husbands who were the business owners. Their wives actually were the connection to the communities and did good in those communities. And sometimes if the wife passed away first, the husband started the foundation to memorialize the wife's contribution to community. And it is those things that actually elevated into the larger corporate sector that allowed them to do very similar things. Bill Gates didn't start the Gates Foundation in order to have a tax deduction or a tax write-off, at least not at first. His first goal was to give back to the communities that needed help, and then give back to the supporters who supported Microsoft. The same thing for the HP, the Hewlett-Packard Foundation, the Packard Foundation. I mean, there are more than one. There's more than one foundation that came out of HP. Google, Chase has a foundation. Wells Fargo has a philanthropic arm. So it does stem across large organizations. But you know what's different now? Recognizing that small business is not only a contributor to the physical effort of helping in those philanthropic ventures, small business is now in the space of being able to utilize similar contributions so that they can do better business, bigger business, and be bigger contributors to the overall improved economy by hiring more employees, by helping more in the community, by allowing their employees to designate time that they are going to go out into their communities and lend to projects that are of a philanthropic nature. And you know, there are small businesses that are looking at capital needs in order to update equipment, or hire that additional staff person that can allow them to do bigger business, because they now have the staff to do that, and they don't have to kill their existing staff with all these hours and what have you. So I say all of that to bring out the point that social entrepreneurship is also the mainstream responsibility, and is coming more into the conscious awareness of the small business owner. The small business owner who's a solopreneur, who's an entrepreneur that hires contractors as resources for them, the entrepreneur who has anywhere from 1 to 100 employees, is now moving more into this space because it opens up. And one of the things Cynthia and I do a lot of talking about too is this whole energetic frequency thing, and realizing that the frequency within which we as individuals can operate on, that brings us into the realm of prosperity and abundance and peace and joy, also exists for businesses. And if you did not realize that, I want you to give that a little bit of thought right now, right this minute, because the energetic frequency that you bring to your business is one thing, but the frequency that your business resonates at is yet another. So if you bring your heart of giving and love and joy into a business as a business owner or a contributor, and the business is not doing well, that your frequency level is here, the business is here, where they meet lowers yours. It may increase theirs, but you're still looking at a combined lowered frequency. And I hope that you're getting this picture, because this is where infusing a business with the consciousness and the heart of social enterprise actually allows you to be here, your business to elevate from here to here, and then you meet at a higher vibrational level. And the premise is, again, when you do for others, the things that are attracted to you are just so much bigger. And Cynthia, you want to add to that?
Contribute to that, yeah. And the reason why that is, and coming to the heart, you might go home and you have all this love at home and everything, and then when you go to business, you separate your love from your business, okay? You're going there because it's business and it's work. And we've, in the past, in our culture, have separated, business is business, and, family is family. But guess what? You spend most of your time in your business, so include it in your life, include it in your love, include it in all that. And what that has to do with is you don't separate yourself from your heart. You don't leave your heart at home and then go to work, right? Now, the heart is 60 times more amplified than any part of your body and 5,000 times more electromagnetic. The state of our being, when I say that, state of our being is in our hearts, okay? Let it be love, because what you are putting out into the world is coming back to you 100 times plus. That's energetic. So in your business, if you're separating yourself from, your heart, the love that you're feeling lack in this and that, your business is it's not going to thrive. But if you're in another place in your heart that you're just loving what you're doing and you know that you're contributing to the world, and that's the thing, knowing that you're contributing to the world by you providing the service that you're open that business for. And we have more to say to that, so I just wanted to kind of contribute to what you were saying to help people understand even more about energetically. It is all energy. It's not just a physical thing that's stuck just in this form. We can change it through our love.
We change it through our love, and it is love expressed. So it really is about what you do. And I have this thing called the Social Entrepreneurship Quotient. And it is actually the sum of purpose plus planning plus implementation. Sums up the powerful idea around social enterprise. And what you define as your purpose, again, in business, it's who are you reaching, what's their problem, what solutions do you bring, and how does that align with you? And then planning in that how you can bring something that you are passionate about that's beyond your business into your business. So I want to talk to you about a couple of examples and a couple of strategies where that has occurred. And I'll go to the big guys. There's Nike. And it used to be, and think about this, used to be that you heard Nike was swoosh and just do it. And it was a very powerful individual empowerment message. But have you noticed lately what Nike is saying in their current marketing? They're saying girls in sports is cool. They're saying women in sports is powerful. They're saying men in sports can take it to another level by going right here to their heart. And while, if you're an athlete, you know that it takes heart to do some of the things that you've done. I woke up this morning and the first thing that I saw on my computer this morning was this video that Martin Shervington shared, and I thought, wow, if this doesn't reek of infinite potential and infinite possibility, how can I grab that and hold it for myself? It was a video of this guy jumping from a 900-foot ledge on the side of a cliff in a fjord and swinging out so that he did a quadruple backflip into the ocean. And, you know, if you have ever had any doubt about what might be possible in the realm of your business growth, I want you to know that, you know, there are infinite possibilities and there's infinite potential in what it is that you desire to do and in you. And that's what social entrepreneurship is about. That's what social entrepreneurship is designed to bring to you. From a business perspective, here's the model. Doing business and saying that you are aligned with helping to eradicate cancer, helping to address obesity, helping to feed people, especially kids. People look at you differently. I love what Tony Robbins did with his newest book, Money. And what he did was for every copy purchased, this was his philanthropic venture, for every copy purchased, all of the proceeds would go towards his Hunger Brigade program. And the dollar amount that was given for the purchase of the book went to feed 50 families. Now, did he come out and say, you know, my goal is to sell this book and all the proceeds are going to go to feed families, you know, or 50 people? He wrote about it somewhere in, you know, not in the first chapter, not in the preface, but somewhere in the book he stated this. I can't quite remember where, but it was the premise that I know who my audience is, and my audience is business owners. He's in the personal development world, and these are people who will buy the book because not only have I written it, it's about money. People want to know, you know, what's the master saying about master your money? And then you find out later that this is what he's doing. Well, I believe that the energy around that will garner and does garner him a different level of respect for what it is that he's doing and what it is that he's giving back and contributing to help heal the world. And you can do the same thing. And it does not even have to be that you give all of the proceeds of anything to anything that's happening. But there are a couple of things that you want to think about doing, and one of them is, you know, maybe you've had someone in your family to contract cancer and they've been a survivor. Align with a cancer survival group that you can bring light to. And that light may be money, that light may be just helping them to market and to expose to the world what it is that they're doing, which really may not cost you anything but some time. And identifying how it is that you might do that. So whether it's put something on your website, whether it's to mention something monthly in your newsletter, whether it's to actually help them to campaign. You've got a big enough name in their market that them saying that you're supporting them is really opening up some additional opportunities for them. There's other things involved too. For instance, how would it be for you to be able to support a nonprofit organization and it doesn't cost you anything actually, outside of the initial contact and making these arrangements? And that is, if you are in the crowdfunding space, if you are in the small business opportunity space where you're going after grant funds, if you are doing things that provide sponsorships to come to you and you're getting funds for sponsorships, and it would be more attractive for people who are providing you with funds to do that and have it as a tax deduction. There's a way for you to do that, and aligning with your favorite, your nonprofit organization that can in fact assist you in that endeavor will give you that opportunity to not only bring those grant funds to you, provide your donor with a charitable contribution, tax deductible contribution opportunity. It also provides the nonprofit that you're supporting the opportunity to have another stream of income. We call that fiscal sponsorship, where you do the requesting of all the funds actually get written to the nonprofit organization, who takes out a small fee, 5%, 10%, and then the balance comes to you to use for your endeavor. That nonprofit now has a slight income stream, and they're required to do the accounting. Yes, this organization gave money. Yes, it was this amount. Yes, we took our fee and gave the balance to the small business. This has been set up, and the ability to do this has been around since nonprofits has been around, since gifting has been around, since the IRS allowed for the tax exemption to occur. What's new is that maybe you didn't know about it, so you never attempted to go and seek those types of funding opportunities. But what it does is causes a greater ability of circulation of the exchange of money energy. And you'll be hearing more about that, staying connected to the permission movement, as well as to the Biz Info Zone show, and to both Cynthia's business with Hartmonics and mine with the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship. Now, I want to get into, I mentioned story. What has story got to do with all of this? Well, I'll take Tony Robbins, for instance, because many of you know him. You may not know his story. But Tony just felt so very compelled about doing the Thanksgiving Brigade that turned into something even better and bigger with the actions that he's taken with the book, that it stems from his childhood. He tells the story of how his family was in a space of really having hard times, and they didn't have any food. And he remembered a gentleman coming to the door with a couple of bags of groceries, and his father had such a pride complex that he refused the gifts. And that made such an impression on Tony. Why would you refuse the gift to feed your family? And, that aside, what he saw was bigger than that, and that was that there were families who needed this kind of help. And I so resonate with that, and bringing that same concept into what the permission movement and the permission movement experience is all about. We are doing this endeavor because each one of us, the co-authors of the Permission to Be Powerful book, saw that had the opportunity that we are endeavoring to provide these girls and women been provided to us as we were in our, teens and early 20s and even 30s and 40s, it may have accelerated some of the progress that we made in our lives. But we also realize that your story is your story. You were born into whatever your story is today. Whatever is your past, your story, it was supposed to be that. And what it is that we're doing and bringing to the future of these girls and women to be a part of their story is what is supposed to happen for them. And you being a part of this, looking at this as an opportunity to contribute into, I want to put this out there. Go to the website, permissionmovement.org. That's permissionmovement.org. And up on the menu bar, the top right-hand corner, you will see permission or PM experience. Click on that link and really delve into what this is all about and how you can contribute. We are actually doing 9 weeks, 9 celebrity guests, and all of the co-authors of the Permission to Be Powerful book as part of this experience to bring this knowledge and information to you, women entrepreneurs, and a few good guys too, to say that story is something that's powerful. And if you're standing in the pain of your story, there's a way out. If you're standing in the pleasure of coming to understand that your story has brought you to a place where you can do so much more in your own life and in the lives of others, then you're also in the right place. Because that is the heart-centered, purpose-driven entrepreneur that we're speaking to. And when you're talking about business, a lot of us think legacy. How do I establish a legacy? How can I live my legacy? And I don't mean spending our kids' inheritance right now, although, maybe that's part of your story. And that's okay, because anyone has the ability to stand in the now and say, this is the story that I want to write for my future. And I think that everyone that I've spoken about, Bill Gates, Tony Robbins, and a lot of others, thought about what they could do irrespective of the legacy piece of it, because their choice was to live it first, and then it becomes a part of your story. And Cynthia and I do a lot too. So, I mentioned that there are a few ways to do the whole social entrepreneurship thing. And one of them is aligning with a nonprofit and bringing that aspect into the knowledge about what it is that you're passionate about, and what your business can support, will support, is willing to support. Well, there's another aspect of it as well, which is you could start your own nonprofit. And, a nonprofit organization is one that is a small business enterprise that the money is just handled differently. In a for-profit business, you got your revenue, and the owner or the board of directors dictates the distribution of profits. Or a nonprofit organization, the profits in that organization are mandated to go back into the organization for the work that the organization does. And we're all about service, or should be all about service. And the service that I'm talking about is not just serving your customers, but serving at a higher level, serving from heart, serving in a go-giver way. And it's just serving from the concept of, let me help you to get what you need, to help you to be better. And I know that the exchange of that is going to be what I need in order to run my sustainable business and really live the life that I dream. There's a third way of doing it as well, and that is, and there's a beautiful example of this, if you're a nonprofit organization and you are attempting to drive more revenue into your organization, consider this. Maybe if you are the right type of nonprofit organization and starting a for-profit business that supports that nonprofit organization. It's kind of reverse engineering, but it's not. It's actually forward engineering, because if you're starting as a nonprofit and can migrate what it is that you're doing to become an effective for-profit business that can then earn the revenue to help support your nonprofit, you're actually in that cycle of life and in that cycle of forward progress and the higher contribution energy. And the example that we use a lot is Tom's shoes. And I know that Cynthia really resonates with this one, because it was actually the model that she started her business in the frame of. And Tom's Shoes started out as a nonprofit organization that the one of the co-owners actually was on the show Survivor and was exposed to Aboriginal villages where the kids were running around with no shoes, and many of them the mortality rate was high. Many of them were dying because of the parasites that were entering their bodies through their feet. And so this guy said, oh my God, there's something I can do about this. And he went back and opened this nonprofit in order to provide shoes for these kids. And struggling, just decided to go back to the drawing board and come up with an innovative idea as to how he could more easily fund this nonprofit. And it turned out that, you know, he was in the shoe business. So selling shoes in the for-profit arena to regular consumers like you and me gave him the ability to, in his profit margins, move money into his his nonprofit organization, provide more shoes for more kids in more villages. And I think that, you know, I want you to really get a grasp of this, because Cynthia and I have worked through this for the Center for Loving Consciousness. And Cynthia, I want you to tell people, you know, give the bottom line of what is the Center for Loving Consciousness, and what is the certification program, and how is Harmonics mixed in there?
Well, you know, thanks for asking me to bring that in, because this, I think, will be very helpful for everybody here. And just to kind of set this in place, you know, we both, Lynn Hawkins and I, are involved in Directions University. We're both faculty members now, and you know, I got involved with Directions University, which we've had Gina Gaudio-Graves and Jack Humphrey on here, and they've been offering their services and information to help with your businesses and to put those socialpreneur, ship in place. I'm a faculty of the service mindset. And how I got there was actually when I met as a strategic strategy session with Gina. And I was brought to my attention about this Tom Shoes that Lynn is talking about here, because I had this, you know, my thing was to start the Center for Loving Consciousness. I wanted to make a difference in our wellness community. You know, we're having such difficulties in you know, as far as our insurance, as far as getting the care that we need. You know, we do live in a business of disease. And I've been always involved in, you know, wellness, and that's all my education and everything is about, how to be well in this world. And I wanted to change a lot of that, a lot of what's going on, and create a place called the Center for Loving Consciousness, because the education that we need from the very beginning is about our hearts and about love. That's the core of everything.
And the core of life.
And the core of life. And it is what actually where our health and wellness stems from. So, you know, how do I, so I go in, you know, thinking, all right, I'm going to start a 501c3. How do I, you know, get that money coming in and everything? How am I going to support myself? And this is the question that Gina had for me. And I'm like, you know, well, I'll be a director of this, and I'll pay myself whatever salary I can. Yeah, but how can I pay myself a salary, what I can, to get this business going, you know, this nonprofit going, when there's no money coming in? And I got to find out how to fund it, and, you know, and do all those things that you need to do that takes a lot of time, and you don't have any time to work to bring in income to support yourself to do these things. So everything's upside down and crazy, and it was brought to my attention. I'm like going, wow. So what they brought in was that model of Tom Shoes and said, what if you start a for-profit business and it subsidizes your nonprofit? So that's where Harmonics came out of, because Harmonics are my programs and courses I'm putting together to help teach about the heart and about how love, you know, transforms consciousness and your DNA. And we have that science to back it up and prove that, you know, and that was really important to get that information in there, because you all need to know that. and and that creates a healthy community, and it just starts, you know, expanding out. So if we would start life out with teaching loving consciousness to the world, okay, to our children in our education, because most of the time we're born and, you know, we're just assume that we all know what love is. Is that true? Really, no. We don't. You know, we feel it, and then we get really confused because we're taught so many different things, and you know, actions speak louder than words. So what kind of actions are we putting out there? You know, how we're showing people how to take care of ourselves. I mean, look at some of these reality shows. I mean, please, come on. Is that how you want to treat your fellow human being? No.
How you want to treat yourself.
Yeah, how you want to treat yourself, just like I started out. You know, you got to find that peace inside yourself before you can give it to another. And so that was really transformational for me to understand that concept and to have someone, you know, a model out there that we can follow. And there's several of them out there. And to really start looking at what a lot of these, you know, businesses that are making contributions are doing, you know, to feel a part of that. And one of the things that I back up everything, you know, when we're talking about truth there, you know, Gandhi has a quote, even if you are a minority of one, the truth is the truth. And what that means is, what is your truth? You know, about how you feel in this world and how you feel you're contributing, and what does that mean to you? You know, have you ever wondered what life would be like without charity? In order to have charity, you have to have love, because they are the same. You know, Mother Teresa was the one of those minorities that we're talking about. You know, she came in and changed the world. The love of one person can change the lives of many. You know, we have the American Red Cross, which was founded after the Civil War by Clara Barton, an Army nurse who later led the fight for women's suffrage, her part of a long life battle against ignorance and prejudice. Okay? In the year of 1842, appeared in a vision of Dorothy Dix, was a lone single woman who did something when she was appalled to see the way the mentally ill were treated, you know, on one of her trips to England. You know, she saw them confined in cages and closets and cellars, you know, stalls and pens, and people were chained and naked and beaten with rods and lashed into obedience. You know, the mentally ill were thought as inhuman. And then we have, as late as the 1815, the citizens of London could pay a penny to tour the Bethlehem hospitals and gawk at the seriously mentally ill, along with the club-wielding guards. You know, sightseers considered it great fun to taunt and provoke patients into states of frenzies. You know, and so Dorothy Dix came in and she changed everything with that. And then she created, you know, vocational training and of the mentally ill and retarded. And then in the 1860s, you know, we have Jane Addams, and she became the first social worker. I mean, that we know as the first social worker. In 1889, she moved to Chicago slums, where she opened the Hull House for impoverished immigrants. And then we have Florence Nightingale. We have Jean Henry Dunant, you know, and she, gosh, I'm just going through all these lists that I have here that I found of people who one person has made the difference. You know, we have the people who started the Red Cross, the YMCA, the International Red Cross, all started by one person wanting to make a difference in this world. And, you know, so know that you can. A lot of us stop there. We think, God, what can I do? I'm only one person. You know, it's like what I hear people say when they make a mistake. They go, I'm only human. Well, if you only knew what that meant, you are magnificent. You make a difference in this world. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. So, you know, to know that, you know, for me, you know, there was a time when I felt that, you know, coming through a place of abuse and rape and trauma as a child, and coming out and thinking to myself, I'm you know, I'm worthless. You know, having that thought that I wasn't worth anything, that I wasn't valued, You know, and did I want to stay here in this world? You know, I had thoughts, no, maybe I don't want to be here. But when we all of a sudden understand that we are worthy of being here, that we can contribute to the world, we can make a difference. That's what changes lives. That's what changes ourselves when we're feeling that we have nothing left to give and we don't feel worthy or valuable. It's when we all of a sudden find that spark that says, yes, you can. You make a difference because you have something inside of you that someone absolutely needs to hear from you or even feel from you, such as your heartbeat. You know, the love of one person can change the lives of many. And I'd like to say, you know, be the one. I tell my children, I say to them, you know, there's a lot of good people in the world. If you can't find, be one. And that's why I have to say to all of you.
That's so cool. I love that thought because that is the person who will step in when they see somebody being bullied. That is the person that's going to say, what can I do to help? And I love it because, you know, you mentioned a lot of the space where social causes are. The mentally ill, the, you know, unhealthy. I mean, it used to be that nurses were the ones that were the caregivers, and now it has moved into family because of economic situations and what have you. But I want folks to know that it is also impacting business and the social enterprise that can contribute to managing, to helping aid some of these social causes. They're the ones that will get recognized. If you think that business owners aren't seeing other business owners in these spaces and doing business with them because of it, think again. Richard Branson talks about how no matter what the structure of a company, whether it's for-profit or non-profit or, you know, a creative melding of the two, entrepreneurial solutions are offering engagement and, you know, increasing recognition of what's out there and how you can be a solution, jobs, employing more people, or at least connecting people to other employment opportunities, and hope. And I think this is a big one too. Hope in areas where people actually looked and thought there was none. Examples, you know, a couple of years ago, there was a telecom company based in South Africa that started to develop and distribute solar charging stations in their little region. So they would be providing power for cell phones and lights and other small devices. And these stations now are helping to transform the lives of people all over the rural areas around there where the supply of electricity is erratic or not at all. And it's items like that that small business can get involved in that allows the recognition that leads to greater success. And I don't mean recognition like, you know, the whole Macy's Day Parade. I mean the recognition that, oh, you're somebody that cares. Oh, you're somebody that's doing something. And even on a small scale, business that gets recognized for doing things like that have other opportunities that come to them. And there are areas that you can focus on: health, education, climate change, all kinds of environmental issues. One of the things that I love, Gina's favorite social enterprise connection, is with the eagles. The eagles as an endangered species, and actually watching them as they cohabitate, as they create these beautiful little eagle eggs, and then the little eaglets come out of them. What if your business paid attention to things like that as well? Just yesterday I heard a story about a very prestigious real estate firm in Central South Florida that had the owner built his main office right next door to his horse farm. And one day he thought, wow, I know that people love the horses, people stop and kind of look at them, and my real estate office is right here. Suppose we did something that helped focus on the horses and made that our connection to environment and horses. There's so many people in the world who just love horses. Do you know that that connection alone helped to increase his business 100-fold in the matter of 2 years? Because people recognized the care, the heart connection that he had to the horses, and they said he cares. Maybe he cares about the people that he's trying to find homes for as well, and it brought him more business. And I don't want this to sound like it is, just about the money, just about the growing of business, but I want you to know we're business owners. If that is not part of something that is close to the forefront of our thinking, then we don't really realize what leverage means. We don't realize what repurposing means, repurposing content, repurposing the things that we are doing in our businesses. There are things that we have learned from society that actually will shut us down for looking at other innovative ways of doing business. If you are a store that sells lights and you contribute, 10 cents on every dollar that you earn in profit to an organization that's bringing this kind of electricity that we just talked about to rural countries and third world countries and rural communities of our own, what might that do for our world? That's what I'm getting at, and that is honestly the premise of social entrepreneurship. So I want to bring things to a close. We talked about a lot of things, and legacy is a very personal thing. Legacy can occur in so many ways, and I actually look at, when I talk about legacy, I talk about it in a way of building your legacy matrix. And in building your legacy matrix, you're looking at 3 things in particular. First and foremost is your vision. What do I want people to say about me 10, 20, 30 years from now? And because of that vision of my business, my life, what is it that I desire to do right now in order to have that heart give back and create the legacy that I want to, have someone to say thank you as they're eulogizing me. And then the third piece is, how can I walk it out? How can I live it out right now so that it really becomes what I desire it to be because of this vision that I've set? And in that legacy matrix is your business and how you can do bigger business, better business, because the bottom line for what it is that I desire to bring to the world and help others to do is being able to do more good in the world. And I do that a couple of ways. One, I have a gift for our audience, Cynthia, and it is my 1-page 7 steps to writing your winning social enterprise plan. And I want to gift that to our audience. It's a free download from my website. You can get that at skyhawkenterprises.biz/7 steps. And then I'd also like to invite you, if building the vision for your business is something that you're interested in doing in a very strategic way that not only incorporates a social enterprise opportunity in it for you to build on, but actually takes you from that vision into what do I want the next 12 months to look like? And then being able to plot that out in 90-day increments and set up your implementation plan such that you can get it done, then I'd love for you to join me. I'd love to offer you a complimentary strategy session. And I guarantee you that you will walk away from that strategy session knowing that you've got a couple of implementation ideas that you can work on. But I would really like it to be the opportunity for us to work together to bring that vision closer to something that you not only see is possible, but you're in the cycle of implementation that then helps you to do it and do it more easily. And that is my Vision to Soar program. It's a 5-module program that actually walks you through from that visioning standpoint to what is it that I can do in this next 90 days that's going to get me to my first or second milestone goals. And I'd like to invite you to go to the website and see what this is all about. And you can get there at skyhawkenterprises.biz/vision to soar. And I would love to connect with you and support you in the way that allows you to not just have this consultation opportunity, but to have this business opportunity that can bring you into the space of doing more, having more, and being able to do more good in the world. So Cynthia, I think we are about at wrap-up time. You know, as people are looking at the two of us and how we're doing things in the future, why don't you extend an invitation to the Adventures of the Heart show?
Yes, well, we have the Adventures of the Heart show tonight on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can come in there and join us on Hangouts Live. Also, there will, we have YouTube channel, for any replays, or even on your Google Plus if you're part of all that. So, and tonight we do have the Tall Trees, Chief Robert and Terry Talltree, talking about the ancient wisdom of the heart. And also, I just want to extend out to all of you too, as far as being in the permission movement, and Lynn and I really wanted to offering you these special programs that we have to offer you to help you become, live your legacy, how you want to show up in the world and make a difference. I too, if you go to heartmonics.org/P2BP, permission to be powerful, and that's the number 2. I have a Hartmonics wellness strategy session that as my gift to you, and by all means, take Lynn and I up on our gifts, because we want to make a difference and help you, and we want to help you help others. That's what we're here for. So between the two, Lynn is just amazing with the business strategies of socialpreneurship, and I will support you with that mental, psychological place of knowing your value. And I'm also going to add something in on that page, which I don't have it up yet, but today just reminded me how important it is I have something that I wrote. It's called Your Value and Worth is the Love That You Are. And it's about change your value by changing what you value. What is your value? What is your worth? How much is your life worth? Can you put a price, value, or worth on life? And this alone will also support you in that place to get you out of your head and into your heart, so that you recognize your own gifts and you find your value. Because if you don't, you can't give what you don't have inside of you. And so I'm putting that out there for all of you to receive that. And you got to complete the cycle, you know, that movement and flow of exchange. That's what the world is all about, and how we can live our lives more fully. So breathe deep into your heart and love yourself more today than you did yesterday. And thank you.
Be sure to join us on next week. On Monday, we have the Tall Trees talking about native wisdom and your story. We have, who else do we have? We have Matt Pearlstein next Thursday on the subject of your EQ and your heart intelligence story. So keep an eye out for all that we have yet to come to you. I'm just so grateful that you joined us today. Let me give you a rundown of some of the past modules that are in the Permission Movement experience. We have the intention, Heart Stories Unfold, that we did to open up the Permission Movement experience. There are a couple of modules on crowdfunding and how your story plays into crowdfunding. David Bullock was our guest to talk about story leverage and really breaking down the components of story and how they play into your life. Gina Gaudio-Graves talked about the vortex model of doing business and how your story fits. And we had a session on harmonize your business and harmonize your story. Harmonize your story. And write your story as a panel. We had a beautiful panel discussion about how you can have your powerful business and your beautiful life. And the power of acknowledgement. Andrea Wolf brought us some real insightful wisdom around the power of acknowledgement and how that plays into your story. And we had Desiree Dubois, a 7-figure mentor to 7-figure women, business women, and she talked about story success. Let's talk story success. She's just launched a mobile magazine that you can sign up for, complimentary sign up. And then the traffic master, Jack Humphrey himself, was here sharing about the traffic vortex. And he talked a lot about social entrepreneurship as well. And then this past Tuesday, we had the pleasure of hosting Natalie Ledwell, who talked about your story is not your own, share it. And she shared her story and how impactful her life was to the point of recognizing what her story was and then embarking on deliberately creating the story of her future that has brought her to the place that she is today. Powerful. We've got so much more for you. I'm just so excited about what's ahead. I'm working on Dame DC Cordova coming and talking about your money story. So stay tuned. Be with us every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 12 p.m. noon Eastern Time. And if you can't catch us live, pick up the replay while it's available. And we look forward to your joining us again soon. And remember, for every 2 digital packages that are purchased, 1 digital package goes to a nonprofit organization complimentary from the Permission Movement experience. And if you have a nonprofit that you'd like for us to reach out to receive one of those gifts, let us know. Okay, thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you soon.